the decision that saved the world. It was 1983, a peak moment of the Cold War. The leader of the Soviet Union was Yuri Andropov. The relationship between the United States and the Soviet Union was tense. On March 8, 1983, the Boeing 747, Korean Airlines Flight 77, was shot down, allegedly, by a Soviet missile. The aircraft had accidentally strayed into Soviet airspace, not far from a missile test site, and the airliner was mistaken for an American reconnaissance plane. A few weeks later, in an air defense bunker in Moscow, Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov was the commanding officer on duty at the command center for the OKO nuclear early warning system. His job was to alert the authorities in the case of a missile strike toward the Soviet Union. Petrov had worked before with this type of radar system. Since the 1970s, Petrov has worked with warning systems designed to detect ballistic missile attacks. Nevertheless, this time it was different. It was not a drill, it was the Cold War. Unexpectedly, a Soviet early warning satellite had detected 5 Minuteman missiles approaching from the United States. The odds of a missile attack from the United States were likely. Hence, it was evident that the Soviets must take action. As Eric Schlosser mentioned in his book, Command and Control, an American first strike would surely involve more than 5 missiles, but perhaps this was merely the first wave. Thus, as expected, the first wave of nuclear missiles was on the radar heading toward the Soviet Union. The Soviet General Staff was alerted red alert. It was time for Petrov to inform his superiors. As soon as Petrov alerted his superiors, the counterattack would begin immediately. In other words, the Third World War appeared imminent. However, Petrov decided to hold back from alerting his superior and re-evaluated the situation. How could an officer decide at the last minute to resist a counterattack when the greatest threat to the Soviet Union was attacking? After a few analytical seconds, Petrov decided it was a false alarm. If he had made a mistake, his decision would have been catastrophic for the Soviet Union. Nevertheless, an investigation later found that the missile launches spotted by the Soviet satellite were actually rays of sunlight reflected off clouds. So, Petrov was right. The likelihood of a United States attack on the Soviet Union was probable. However, he decided to disregard his intuition, his gut's feelings. History would have been different if Petrov had reacted under the climax of the Cold War. Had Petrov reported incoming American missiles toward the Soviet Union, his superiors probably have launched an attack against the United States. Instead, he used a more efficient method for his last decision: deliberative reasoning. Today, he is considered the man who saved the world. This book dispels the assumption that passion, love, intuition, and empathy should always drive our decisions. Instead, I propose a better way of dealing with life circumstances. As Paul Bloom neatly stated, we should strive to use our heads, rather than our hearts.